Although I'm AR 60 today and have sunk more than 1,000 days of my life into Genshin, I too started as a new player back when Genshin first released in September 2020. Everyone needs to start from somewhere after all. Back then, there were little to no guides. Information about the game was new, and people actually called Bennett, currently the best damage buffer and support in the game, as a 4-star Diluc. Now, 3 years later, knowledge on the game has expanded, and guides created today are a lot more accurate and trustworthy. When I look back at when I first started, I made quite a lot of mistakes that were honestly really stupid. Since Fontaine will be releasing on the 16th of August, I believe that a lot of new players will be joining Genshin to partake in the awesome gameplay, world and story. As such, I thought of creating this video to provide some tips based on the mistakes that I've made and what I've learned in my 3 years in Genshin to let you newer players have a better and smoother time in Genshin. Before we begin, can I say a huge thank you to everyone for helping me to reach 1.6k subscribers. We are now steadily heading to the new goal of 10,000 and I hope that I will see you there as well. If you're not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing to get us closer to the goal and to join our wonderful family here. Without further ado, my name is ChargeCoin and let's begin the video. A lot of newer players especially will tend to take their own time to slowly explore the Mondstadt map, finding Anemoculus and other items before playing the Archon quest. That is very normal, you're dropped into a new world after all. However, the thing is, by clearing the Mondstadt Archon quest as quickly as possible, you'll be able to get more experience points to level up. Your objective at lower levels is to at least get to AR 12 very quickly. Why? Because commissions are unlocked at AR 12. It is so important to get these commissions unlocked first because you get 4 commissions daily and you will unlock a total of 60 Primo Gems per day, leading to about 1,800 per month or about 10 gacha pulls, all of which are important to get you your next 5-star character. As such, the longer you wait or the longer you take to get to AR 12, the more you'll lose out on the 60 gems that you can possibly get daily. On the topic of Primo Gems, a lot of newer players who are unsure of how the gacha system works in Genshin will tend to spend their Primo Gems on the standard banner. Let me first explain what the standard banner is. In Genshin, there's 2 main banners, limited character and weapon banners, as well as the standard banners. The limited banners, as it suggests, have limited time characters and weapons that are only available to get when it's their banner. For example, Kokomi is on the limited banner now. If you don't pull for her this time, once her banner ends, you have to wait for her to get her rerun before you can get her again. The standard banner, however, features characters and weapons that you can get at any time. Even if the limited banner does not feature them, you will still have a 50% chance of getting them if you haven't obtained the limited 5-star. So, why waste your precious Primo Gems on characters or weapons that you can obtain at any time? Instead, you can always use the Aquane Fates or Blue Fates that are obtainable from the monthly shop reset, ascending characters and so on, so that you don't waste your precious Primo Gems. As a new player, it is easy to get overwhelmed because there are so many characters in Genshin. You want to build everyone, so as to give them a try. However, the problem here is that resources are extremely limited in Genshin, especially if you are new. If you try to build everyone, you'll find yourself running out of Mora, Hero Wits and so on. As such, at the lower levels where enemies are easier, I recommend you to stick to and focus on building just a few characters. Personally, I recommend a healer and a DPS. The DPS is to deal damage to take down the enemies quickly, while the healer is there for sustainability. Noelle, who is obtainable from the beginner's wish, is highly recommended in this case since you can deal damage and heal as well. One mistake that my wife made early on in Genshin was that she didn't level up any of the character artifacts, which gave her an extremely hard time in Genshin. Early on, while you do not have to dedicate your time to farming artifacts since you will likely change them, and to 5-star ones at the later levels, you should still level them up. The reason for this is that if you don't do so, your characters will end up with lower HP, attack and so on, leading to more frustrating fights with the enemy. As such, it's perfectly fine to just equip those 2 to 3 star artifacts and level them up. Just don't purposely farm for them. Just use what you already have from opening up treasure chests and whatever. In the early adventure ranks, you might find it hard to get sufficient materials you want due to the resin cap. You will not be able to farm enough with the amount of resin available. As such, you may be tempted to use fragile resin that you obtain through your journey to refresh your resin and farm for more items. However, this is not cost efficient as the materials you get early on are very little. The same amount of resin can be used to obtain way more later on. As such, I recommend to start using them only after Era 45 as you will get better rewards and 5-star artifacts at that time. Later on, you may also be tempted to use your Primo Gems to refresh your resin. As I mentioned earlier, Primo Gems are an extremely important form of currency in Genshin that should only be used for getting 5-star limited characters. If possible, I suggest you to wait out the time for the resin to refresh rather than spend your precious Primo Gems, which is such a scarce resource unless you're willing to pay real life cash. For the final tip, you should always do the Ascension quest and ascend your world level. For those who are unsure about what this is, basically when you reach certain adventure ranks, you need to complete an Ascension quest, and after you complete it, your world level will increase. While an increase in world level does mean tougher enemies, which many new players may feel daunted by, I will say, just go for it. Tougher enemies also mean better rewards, which will save you a lot more of your precious resin. For example, take a look at this artifact domain. At lower world levels, you can only obtain 3-star and 4-star artifacts, but as you ascend, you will be able to get 5-star artifacts, which is the endgame farm. What's more, ascending the world level will also allow you to ascend your characters and weapons, thereby allowing them to be stronger and also unlock certain higher level ascensions. For example, for Hu Tao, her 4th level ascension, which is unlocked when you reach character level 60 for Hu Tao and ascend, grants her an additional 33% pyro damage bonus when the HP is below 50%. That increases her damage by so much that you will be losing out if you don't get her to that ascension. With that, we've come to the end of today's video. I hope that the tips in today's video will help you newer players to get through the early stages of Genshin a lot easier. If there are any older players here who would also like to share some additional tips, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. If you found the video helpful, or just enjoyed the video in general, do consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe if you haven't, as I post regular Genshin Impact videos and we just passed 1000 subscribers. Come and join this wonderful family and watch the videos as they release. What's more, we also just created a new Charge Coin community Discord server where you can come relax, chat, get some Genshin or Honkai related help if needed. Do consider joining, the link is in the description below. Thank you and see you next time, bye bye!